Sirens behind the scenes. Hi.
Hi.
So, hey everyone listening. So, this could be considered our August. It could be. I'm hoping that it's just a bonus and we still do a month away to really do proper inventory. But I also love the fractal, the quick turnaround, the space and time to connect again happening so fast, the spiral upward happening so fast that we get another opportunity to share some things that we wanted to share. So happy bonus video, possibly, and happy 1st August video.
Yeah. Happy 1st of August. Happy new month.
Yes.
Happy, I guess, peak summer for me, at least.
Yes, you look lovely.
Oh,
Love
thank
your
you.
dress.
You too. I love your hair so
My
much.
mane. So if you're listening to the podcast, you will have to go over to the YouTube video to see her outfit and my mane. But I wore my hair today like this in commemoration of some energy that I've been shifting through last night. And that definitely required that lion mane raw energy that you know me for, if my song Champion Reason, but also a grandiose goddess embodiment of, when I do the cosmic walk, the cosmic G walk for full moon around the islands, and also so that embodiment of Calypso energy, like prostrating to the earth and the land ownership, land reform, dissolving apartheid, all this work that I've been doing, goddess of reconciliation, repatriation, and resolve, all this work was shifting a lot of energy of that last night. And so just to honor the ocean, it's still Cancer season in Vedic, even if it's Leo season in Western. So both, you can take the main, but what I really want people to see is actually the Nautilus shape that my hair has made, because of the way I've the color and this, so it kind of looks like a spiral. Yeah. So that's the end of the spiral hair, and it's starting here and it's going around. And so I wanted to just share that Nautilus energy with everyone and to encourage you to look it up. It's Nautilus. So definitely allow yourself to create your own relationship with what the Nautilus means, but it's the spiral shell. And it's the idea that we go through many stages, changes, and degrees of life. And so the happy hex that I'm putting on everybody listening today is that I hope you learned something so wonderful from what we Sirens are about to share. She's going to be, what we want to discuss today when we jump in is going to be so life-changing for you. I hope you take one drop out of the ocean from it and find your own way with economy and ecology and money and providence and hot, wet center of fractal fulfillment, if you remember that meditation from last year. Let's jump in. Siren, why did you decide to meet me here today on this rock? What about my request? And let's just jump in.
Okay, before we jump in, I have to add your lipstick. Well, your face is adding so much to the whole Nautilus thing, and the goddess vibes, and Nala energy.
Nala?
Your
as
face.
in Lion King?
With the lips, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Big Nala energy.
Hey, I take that. Hey, yes. I was singing that song this week, actually. If there's so much I must be, can I still just be me, the way I am? Remember that song? And I think he was singing it to his daughter. Nala is his daughter, right?
Is
Simba's daughter. No, Nala is Simba's wife.
Yeah,
Nala is Simba's wife. Hey, I get in a Simba. Hey, money and man. Hey, man,
they go hand.
I'll take
go
it.
hand in hand. But into the intention for today.
Yes.
when you reached out to me, I was really excited to share because with the work that I've been doing online, when you reached out to me to share, how it works and how I got into it, and in order to help people, go, I guess, expand or diversify whatever it is that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if the online route is something that really appeals to them, which I think right now is super important, especially in like the state of the world with the pandemic, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the ability to earn a living in that way
Mm-hmm.
is just underrated, honestly.
Absolutely. And so that's what I for myself, for my own knowledge, for my knowledge upgrade, for my improvement of my utility, of my own understanding of my resources and my capacity and my capability, for my own sphere, just to expand, for multiple sources of income, for creativity, for I'm also personally going through a big shift in possibly stopping sacred dialogue altogether and doing something totally different, and reserving, I'm trying to create a space for always reserving foundational clients and kin access, but like I will not be taking any more new clients for sacred dialogue. Whoever made it through the portal in the last 10 years, we solid. If you need a session, you can check me. But I'm not taking any new kin for sacred dialogue. I have to either create something different or whatever. Like that's kind of the space I'm in. So I was wanting to put my tentacles out there for other things, but also specifically for kin who want more guidance with it. And I felt like you were the guru and the consultant on that. I was like, if I want people to learn about online ecological economics and sources of income, I think that Siren would be the ultimate person to hear through her wood sound of how she does it. So I wanted you to just share whatever was shareable, and also to gift you that honor and say that I look forward to, if it does resonate for you, to create courses on how you do this work and how you support your life, all from a self-assured center, so teach me. I am wide open. Teach us. Show me the way so I can pass on the baton and show all kin the way, whatever is shareable within that space.
Yes, thank you so much. I love that you shared with me that you were looking to transition with the way that you do your sacred dialogue as well. I feel like a lot of people are kind of shifting the way that they do things, and I've been learning so much from everyone that I've been exposed to through friendships and people that I learn from online who are not necessarily friends, but they are people that I can reach out to or can learn from. And shortly after you asked me to do this, I actually joined a Twitter space with a large group. It was hosted by at least 5 men who earn money online in different ways, and they all have courses that they created teaching people how to do the different things that they do to earn money online. And while we were talking about doing this, when you said, yeah, a course would be nice, and one of the guys is teaching how to make courses and sell them online.
So much what I call sacred dialogue serendipitous sync. Like I was just like, I want to learn this from her. Like I want to learn it. And I know I can do it. Like I know I'm smart enough to navigate the internet and do it. I never had to do it before, but I know I can. But I was like, no, I want her to be my wayfinder, pathfinder. Like I want her to be my mentor and guru in this way. Like that's the iron sharpen iron, share strength. Like you all come to me for sacred dialogue. So I want to share the world. I want to share with the world what I can come to you all for as well, and show how we are an exchange of gifts to each other.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a major exchange of gifts, and that perfectly describes even the way that I've navigated working, the online world, through connections with people that I have online or in person. I've been, opened up to a lot of opportunities, and I've been able to come to people like you even to get the extra push and the inspiration to go after new things and so on. But just a little background on just what I've done online, how I've gotten into it, the types of jobs that I've gotten, and so on. I've been doing it for a little over 3 years now. And when Soleil was maybe about 6 to 8 months old, I started putting my antennas out there for online work because I was transitioning out of teaching, and I actually wanted some way to stay home and still work. And it's something that I had been thinking about. Like, the idea was planted in my head a long time ago, maybe since 2013. I've been trying. So I've actually had accounts that were created for me to look for work. But in the accounts, I didn't do much searching after that. I went into other things. So there was a lot that I actually had waiting for me, basically, when I finally decided that I was able to and ready to, realistically get into working online within a certain time frame. So I spoke with a couple of people who had been working online. And then eventually I was able to, through one of those, somebody that I had worked with here in St. Lucia before. And I was referred to a company that I interviewed with at the time. They did sales in like the home improvement industry. And that's how I started out. So previously I had worked in sales here. And when I got into that, they were hiring through Upwork, which is one online marketplace where you can go into and apply to different jobs and get work.
Right.
So that's the platform that they use. But the company itself, I did sales with them, talking to customers, getting specifications on home improvement projects that they were looking to do. And getting them to just go through the entire process of actually paying for it. And then the company, which is actually based in the US, they would fulfill, so they would have builders come out and do the projects. And to me, that was really interesting and really innovative. And I enjoyed that job for a while. I did it for quite a while, and I fully enjoyed it. Through there, I've made friends with, colleagues from work, and they've based in like Jamaica, Guatemala, all over the place, but they use these different online marketplaces. And the reason I mention them is because we've learned so much from each other. Through them, I learned about different marketplaces apart from Upwork, where they've gotten work like Guru, and a bunch of others that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But they would, we would stay in contact with each other, inform each other of any possible other openings and so on, and recommending each other as well, because the best way, honestly, to make these positions work is to refer other people. Number one, you're helping the business owner to actually build their company, because honestly, a lot of these companies are always looking for more work. They're always looking to expand, and you're able to refer people that you know personally and can vouch for. You're able to help them to find another way to make money. And for me, most importantly, without being obligated to be in any specific place physically. So yeah, I did that for quite a while. I was able to, meet so many people and also get others, into working online and so on. And I've done that for one other company since then in a similar field. But after leaving that second job, I was a little over doing sales in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at sales. I enjoy sales, to be honest with you, because I like talking to people and so on.
Right.
But I mean, I wanted to do something different. And ever since my first sales job, which was not a remote job, but an office job here, at that at that at that company, I had a lot of success in sales and I had a lot of fun doing it. And people would always joke with me and tell me that my voice is what's getting the sales. You know,
Wow. Yes. Talk about it.
so I was talking to a lot of contractors at that job, and for some reason, I would go through the presentation and just ask them for their card, ask them to prepay, and the guys were just going like they had no objections. So my coworkers were always like, how are you just, getting them to buy? And people would joke and say that it was my voice. So the guy that I was seeing at the time would tell me, you would be so good for phone sex work. Like, I feel like you would really nail it, in that. And through, joking around about that, and then eventually joking with my girlfriends about it, that was at your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
As people started, I was like, maybe I should really try this. Like, I feel like I might enjoy this. So I went online and I found this website where I could do it. And what I really liked about it was it's not one of those where you just sign up and like you have a profile and you wait for calls. That one was interesting in that they have a chat line that people can call into, and you can just be on the chat line. People can hear your greeting, and if they, hear your voice and what you have to say and they want to talk to you, then they can connect. And with that, it's good training, because before you can create a profile with that company, you have to do a certain amount of time on the chat line.
Okay.
That allowed me to dip my feet in it a little bit and
so you got to explore your voice, your sound, your way with it, and really experience yourself, like experience what friends had been joking about. Like you got to see yourself and experience yourself. Wow. While obviously people were experiencing you.
And I was experiencing them.
Right.
So yeah, that helped me to fine tune so many things. Number one, like my style of doing it. Also, I get exposure to all different types of people on there.
Right.
But it's not everybody that I actually want to talk to, or everybody needs to do not disturb or something. I'm sorry. Yes, so on that line, I was able to get exposure to all different types of people who call in to the line. And I was also able to decide for myself what types of people I actually wanted to spend time talking to. Because for me, it's not just about talking to anybody. I have to feel comfortable, with the client that I'm talking to and what they're talking about. And if it, is a fit for what I want to talk about or feel good talking about, So by the time I actually get to create a profile that people can call into, I know what I need to add into there, like what I'm into talking about, what I'm okay talking about, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that part of it was really helpful for me. Yeah. And even leading up to right now, the most recent one that I mentioned on the podcast, I think a couple episodes ago, about me opening the line of advice, I feel like I put the way that I created that profile, I wanted to do it from a very authentic space. Like I just put in a paragraph about my history and my experiences with regard to that sort of work. Which I was able to figure out doing the phone sex calls. I was able to find what my space is in that sense. And I started doing this work. It was December 2019. So by the time February and March of 2020 rolled around and we were getting into the pandemic, I was so excited that I had that online work that I can do, even keeping my son at home. And I think shortly at February 2020, just before the pandemic really hit, I actually had a friend reach out to me. So how it happened was so interesting. And that's why I told you, I feel like I've just been guided through this entire journey of working on.
Absolutely.
I had a moment where I was picking Soleil up from school and walking back up the hill with him. And I was thinking to myself, what else do I want to do? I want to do something else online, not just that. I want something else. So I was walking and I said, I think I want to do a writing job that makes X amount of money minimum monthly. And that would be good, that would be a good fit for me. And literally that day, when I got home, which was about 15 minutes after that, I got a phone call from a friend who just said, hey, are you interested in like having this job? She literally had the exact job that I had just said I wanted, and decided in that moment that she wanted to leave the job, but she wanted to recommend somebody. And I was in awe. Like I asked for it 15 minutes ago, and a friend reached out to me, and here we go. So I think that very week I met with her boss and interviewed for it, and that's what I've been doing for the entire pandemic. I started it a month before the pandemic. And had I known that the pandemic was going to hit, I would have known exactly why I felt like, you know what, Zan, you need to get another. And it's so fitting because if I was still doing the sales jobs at that time, if I didn't choose to walk away from doing that type of work, it might have been a lot more difficult for me to get through working in the pandemic with Soleil, because we were locked down entirely within maybe, a couple of weeks of even finding out that, the virus was on island. And to be honest, as soon as I heard about the first case, I pulled him out of school because I felt like I didn't really need to. Honestly, I wouldn't have, under normal circumstances, I didn't send him to school every single day of the week. I had decided that, 3 to 4 days was fine enough for me. So that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I knew what it was like for me working with him at home. But having him at home with me every single day, 24 hours from mid-March throughout almost the entire pandemic,
Yeah.
was a very interesting experience. And I'm very grateful for having the work that I have, that I can do. I can choose the times that I work. I can choose where I decide to work, just in general. I've even, went into, at certain points in the pandemic when it was becoming overwhelming for me, I was able to go onto Fiverr and hire somebody, on a, not consistently, but when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And give them some of my work to do when I feel like it's a lot.
Absolutely.
So that is another part of the passing of the baton. It's like an entire network of people online who I feel like all of our work can benefit each other in, one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And so I just, of course, you can see, you don't have to read any of this. That's just my notes I made because I want to extract many things that you said here. And I was just like in a closing bit just for what you were just sharing. So I just want to like to reiterate, you would recommend this to who?
I would recommend this to anybody who wants to be able to earn money while still having freedom of location, freedom of time. Just there's also for me personally a greater freedom of choice in like the types of different jobs that you can have access to. So more freedom in general with how you earn money in general, how you work, what you do for money, when you work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. I mean, this is something that we can discuss privately more. It's just coming up to me, and you know how I am already. Is like, I get all excited. So I'm also seeing a space for you, sort of like advising and consulting, like helping people find their best fit for online work. Like, what if you're not into phone sex and sales and writing, like helping someone feel capable that there is something out there for them online. I feel like you'd be able to do that. So that's just coming to me as another service that you can offer online for work in consultancy, or however if you want to do as a love offering and or both. I can see you definitely doing that. So thank you again for sharing that. I love the way you framed access and freedom of location and time and choice of the kind of job, having access to different kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
And not just jobs, but
Jobs.
allowing yourself. Go ahead.
Or I was saying not just jobs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, people earn money online in so many different ways, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited to get into trying to create a course that will help people to get work online. Because I feel like I have helped quite a few people to work online, and I've gotten help from quite a few people, gotten lots of information. I've earned money online in non-job fashion as well, and a lot of it helped me immensely during the pandemic. I remember in April of 2020, I remember it very well. It was 420 last year. I was talking to one of my friends from A level who trade. Now, throughout 2019, I was trading Forex for several months, and I had taken a break from that towards the end of 2019. But while talking to him, he was just telling me about, because the market, a lot of markets crashed when the pandemic hit.
Yep.
So yeah, so I got back into trading and investing in that way, and I was able to make quite a bit of money, just chilling at home on my phone. And I recently started trading options through one of my friends from my previous sales job in St. Lucia. He actually lives in the UK right now, but he reached out to me, and he trades with the company that I used to trade with, and they do like options trading, which is similar to what I was doing before, but it takes a lot less time.
Okay.
To you enter and exit the trade a lot quicker, so you don't have to monitor it as much. But he has invited me into trade sessions with them as well, where I see them, lots of people. There would be like hundreds, about 200 people on the call, just all trading together. They find good trades, people who have quite a bit of experience, and they're just helping people, jumping on Zoom, showing them the trades that they're taking, and you're able to choose which ones you want to take. You take them, and within minutes you close a trade.
Do you also feel that you're in a space where you'd be able to teach people to trade, or at least the basics of trading and what it's about?
I can definitely teach people who are looking to get into it exactly what they need, exactly set up in order to begin trading. Definitely, how it works, how you can look at a trade and see whether it's a good trade that you want to enter into, and so on. And also different ways that they can trade, because like I mentioned to you, I told you about the options trading that I'm doing right now, as opposed to what I did back in 2019 was more so swing trading, So there are other ways as well, apart from trading, where you can invest in stocks and so on. There are a lot of people that I follow who teach that sort of stuff as well. So I'm able to connect people to the different resources apart from me that exist out there, guys who have a lot more experience, and they are able to teach a lot more than I can. So if the person wants to take it to another level, learn a lot more, obviously there are a lot of resources out there that I'm aware of and that I can help people get access to.
Wow. Yes. So I'm just taking note of all of that, because of course this is going up. So people might reach out to you. People might reach out to me directly for you, but people might reach out to you directly, because of course I'm going to be putting the little blurbs of this on the IG.
Yeah.
So as we say in Tamisha, prepare yourself and thank you.
Yes, I'll prepare myself.
Prepare yourself and celebrate the fact that you are clearly prepared, and in Sacred Dialogue we say prepared, PAIRED, that we are connected for a reason, like you and I are prepared to have this conversation, and purposefully so. I really love that you said that you're able to connect people to the different resources where you're not able to teach, so that they can feel that they have that access, because you're creating access and connection is how I see you fundamentally. And I think that's what you are doing with the writing, because you're creating pathways and ideas and opening people's mind to their own solutions. With the phone sex, that's what you're doing. You're what you said, you say your voice, you say sales, but what you're really doing in my mind, from my vantage, is you're creating safe spaces for connection. That's the essence of what you are transferring and trading. That's the highest commodity, real, safe, ecstatic, orgasmic connection, erotic connection, not just the sexual, not limited to like anything about sex can be limiting, but not only specified on sex and sensual expression, but also just energetic, just making people feel, understand themselves, feel themselves and feel their power, not just on a biological erotic level, but on all levels.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that about you. Thank you so much for all you shared so far. I'm still digesting it. So you were saying?
Yeah, I was just saying there's so much about that. Like I love how you said, the connection that you are creating. I feel like a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, I spoke to so many people. I mean, I've been doing it throughout the entire pandemic. I feel like pandemic phone sex is all I know at this point. But
pandemic phone sex, hashtag, right? Like, I love it. It's a different thing, and people need it more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Pandemic phone sex is the truth.
Whenever there's a lockdown, it's so busy because people are just at home, and a lot of people just want somebody to talk to. A lot of the best, like most long-term connections that I've made on there are people that, I mean, it's not even phone sex anymore. We just talk about life, about what their plans are. Sometimes we recommend books to each other. It's just, at this point, a connection.
Absolutely.
Even the phone sex itself, I feel for me, I hear almost like a sigh of relief on the phone. Like people will call and just open up about something that they feel good about, something that they have a desire for, they have a fetish for, whatever it is, but for some reason they feel like they don't have anybody that they know that they feel safe opening up to and saying that to. Not a spouse, not a friend, not, anybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people have that fear that if they do say something, they might get that reaction.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, when we want to talk about ourselves, we want to talk to we really just want somebody who is going to receive that, like receive me talking about what I like in a positive way and give me back that sort of energy. Don't close up on me, just be open and hear me out. And because I've also felt that I've felt that way about even talking about doing phone sex for work, because it took me so long to open up on the podcast or like on our lives about what that work was.
Right.
I don't feel that way now, but I feel like a lot of people feel that way about anything that they do.
Absolutely.
In that realm.
And there's a Nautilus process to it, right? Like we're not always where we are, and it's not even, there are spaces where there are actual real-time reasons to pace yourself or not share yourself, and I mean just basic privacy, yes, but then there's just people's reactions, not just people's reactions, but rather privacy, and how important privacy is in a world where there's so much oversharing and so much exploitation of sharing. So, I have that in my work, share what's shareable, and really tune into yourself and find out what is shareable. Like even right now, I mean, I was very cautious, very deliberate in my way of even messaging you about this, because this is your way of life. This is the way you take care of yourself and your son, which means so much to me. So I don't take it lightly, even messaging you. I don't take it in a wheezy, I support you so much. I want you to share this with me. Like I thought a lot before I sent the message, because I know what this means to you. I know so much of, even if we haven't had this conversation in this way, and we definitely haven't had it. So this is a very exclusive conversation, because we've never actually had, no one, sometimes we've had conversations before and then we reference, and we share on the podcast, but this is a conversation that you and I have never had before. We've touched on the reasons behind it in other spaces, but to have it in that way of you stepping fully into your power, in a way of, like, we are definitely two colleagues, two consultants here having this conversation, like that dynamic shift is very powerful. And I want you to see your power in that way. And I'm so grateful that you're taking that, that you're choosing. You don't have to, having grown the power, you don't have to choose to share it. You don't owe me or anyone anything. And so it is really that choice that takes time to, you've really mastered that ability to keep a gift and hone that energy and grow it and utilize it and see it work for you and see it bloom and say, you know what, I can share some of my harvest. I can share some of my cornucopia. I can share some of my overflowing well with everyone and be like, oh, you get a drop and you get a drop and you get a drop. Like, I have this down now, And I will always remember that time where you called me and you're like, I lost my job. I'm excited. Like, you're the only person I can call and say this to right now. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that means something phenomenal is gonna happen. And it's like how giving yourself that permission to be a single mom and be excited that you lost your job, because it's you who was granted the cosmic grace of being free from the entrapment of part-time job. Like, and I want to make that distinction that you are full-time on your own time. And I want to put that energy out there for anyone listening, that you can find that. And that's what it is we chose to do when we chose to have this conversation out loud. We could have had this conversation privately, but we chose to share it. Because I want all of us to know that I haven't needed it till now, and I haven't needed it for myself or others till now. And I'm glad, like, I'm excited by the need. I'm excited by the inclination and the want. And I'm like, let me see if there's anything here for me in this online world, because I've been so self-reliant in my own way. But now that I'm creating this other stuff, I need to open my mind and open myself. I need to open the network. Also, money is changing in the world, and I want to relearn so I can teach. I want to upgrade the way I navigate money and the online world. I've been working online for about 5-6 years with clients, but now that I want to open myself, I'm like, who can I go to? And it means so much to me that I have you, and so you said, when I asked you, you said, it means so much to you to have this conversation with me, and you'd be happy to share it with me because you credit me for that support in the beginning, for you being able to find this. And that's the perfect symbiosis, because if Sacred Dialogue didn't hold space for your kinetic energy, which is what kin is, yeah. So if I didn't hold space for that kinetic energy for you to just go there and be like, yeah, be glad you lost your job. Like, don't worry about how you're supposed to think. Allow yourself to think exactly how you think. Like, your relationship with money and abundance and providence and prosperity and provisions. Like, yourself. I'm just here to remind you that you know yourself. And if I didn't allow myself to be myself and be Xylor to you, you wouldn't go become this bomb, nuclear lovers bomb that you are. Like, you're just expanding and expanding in an atomic, cosmic way of abundance, and being able to share it and be like, oh yeah, like I have enough to share. Like I can put people on, I can tell you how to trade. And people make it seem like it's something so difficult. Obviously this thing that people are listening to in this moment is not going to teach you how to trade. It's the idea of opening people up to the fact that that is what you do and sharing like your journey with it. But she's actually saying that you can reach out. So or reach in. And I think that is very important for you to sit with yourself and not fear I'm talking to whoever's listening, to not fear the realization of the need, and not feel defeated, like, oh crap, now I've been doing this for so long and now I have to go find another way to do this. Like, I'm so excited to learn from you, whatever I am able to learn from you, because I know that when I know it, so many more are going to be able to learn it too. And that's what we want. We want the network to understand how expansive we are, and how we want to share that freedom. That's the privilege of freedom, so that we can pass it on.
Yeah.
And it can overflow. I wanted to ask you, how would you describe, I wrote down, like, what is it about you that gives you this relationship with money and resource and abundance? Like, how do you see money? Like, how would you phrase that? Like,
how do I see money? Honestly, especially now, after the way that I've been dealing with money over the past few years, it has been very, very different. And I feel like generally in the world, we deal with money, many of us deal with money less so much in a physical way than we used to. But there's definitely been, for me, with working online, a true like visual representation of how much money is an exchange for my energy. In different ways. Like, I get on the computer, whether it is that I talk to people and help them figure out how they want to do their landscaping or their fence or whatever other home improvement, whether it's roofing projects that they want to get done, being able to connect them to a business that's a contractor who's able to do it, or with a business owner, the marketing that they're able to do. It's like an exchange of energy. You're helping somebody to solve a problem and you're cashing out, essentially. That's,
I love that.
Yeah, so that was a sense, like, I mean, it's not always you helping somebody to solve a problem, but you present your energy in different ways, even with something like trading and investing. You're the one showing up and making a decision on a trade. And you're the one receiving whatever benefit there is to making that choice to invest in a certain way or to trade whichever currencies and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so much. Seeing the people that I see, the way that the way that they've helped me make money online, and helping other people, and also making money from that. It's very inspiring for me too. Just seeing the network expand, because I'm also seeing people that I have helped get work online, helping others And just the whole expansive process of that, it always feels really good.
Yes, I'm hearing connection and inspiration, transference and energetic exchanges of that kind of connection and inspiration. That's what I'm hearing so far. Continue. I just wanted to like plug that out.
Yes, for sure. I wanted to touch back on what you mentioned about how much you helped me with being able to do this. This is like the greatest level of freedom that I've ever felt in my life, monetarily, physically, like, and so on. But I feel like it begins from even before that, with just feeling the freedom of owning like my authenticity, like actually feeling like I can claim who I am and show up as myself. So seeing that manifest into me making thousands of dollars over the entire pandemic, doing things like trading and phone sex and writing, is a true testament of my being able to express myself, being able to show up as myself. One of the first things that I spoke to you about when I did my very first sacred dialogue, I was battling so much confusion and like difficulty with accepting my sexual nature. I was suppressing a lot that I did not want to suppress. And I feel like I came to you and you just gave me permission, like, to...
Honey, take it off, put it on, take it out, put it in. Just do whatever you feel.
Yes. It starts with being whatever I feel like. I felt like I got that permission to just be who I felt like being. And it's so funny because everything that came out of that has been the result of me getting permission from you to give myself permission, like all along the way. I remember just when in 2016, when I left like the office sales job, it was the campaign that I was on was actually closing down. And we would have been moved to another campaign. We had to go interview for another campaign to find, which one was best suited. And when they called me to, see what interviews I wanted to schedule for the other campaigns, I just said to myself that I don't want any of it. Like, I don't know what exactly I want to do after this, but that is not it. And a lot of people were worried, like they were looking at me like, what do you mean you don't want a job? Like you have a, like, it was a guaranteed job. I just had to interview for which specific campaign I would have been on. Part of me just knew I just did not want to do that. So I politely declined. And I even ended up having a meeting with the director because he was confused as to why I was just...
I remember this. I remember you told me all about it.
Completely turning down the job, but just not interested. From there, I left my last day at that job having not much of a clue as to what I wanted to do. So what happened was, in the latter days of that job, I was not really taking it that seriously because, like, it was over. I would get on the phones and call when I wanted to make some money, but I would not just like consistently be doing work. I was doing a lot of knitting on the job, because I had learned like finger knitting and a bunch of other like knit styles online.
That's all you were doing.
Yes, I was showing up to work and doing that all day. And my co-workers were like my first market, because I had made some for myself. I started wearing them to work, and somebody was like, "Where did you get that?" I said, "Well, I made it." So she asked me to make her one, and that just turned into me knitting all day on the job and selling like, my little knitted neck pieces and other stuff, because I got requests for different styles and, different things. And so I left that job ended like mid-October. And when did I sign up? I feel I might have signed up for that before I left the job. So, because I know that their registration is usually in September, but the Taiwanese trade exhibition was coming up at the end of November. And I said, I should sign up and set up a stall and like sell my stuff there. And, I would be knitting all day, just going to the beach every day, knitting for the entire day, and then going back home, to sleep and do it again the next day. And that felt so good to me because I could literally be anywhere. Like I would be at the beach on Monday. I would decide to go, up in the forest on a hill or somewhere and just be by myself, relax. I did so much journaling during that time as well. So I had so much time to myself. Everything just felt so synchronistic during that time. But I did the trade exhibition. I was knitting at the exhibition, which, attracted a lot of attention because people were like genuinely curious, like, how are you doing knitting with no needles? I was just knitting on my fingers. And that was a really good experience for me. And so fast forward to about a month after I did the exhibition, I found out that I was pregnant. And at that point, I was still knitting. I was still selling the neck pieces, but I also got a job as a substitute teacher at a secondary school. So I was teaching and I was knitting, and that was around the time when we started seeing each other every week doing the mentoring. So yeah, I went through, that's what I did during my pregnancy. I was a substitute teacher and selling my neck pieces as well. And I remember coming to the Sacred Dialogue as well and showing off the way that I do it and the neck pieces when you were doing them at the hotel. And that's when that was the day when I kind of announced to, friends and everybody who was there that I was expecting, and also announced it on social media that very day. I remember. I remember that day so clearly also because I started a journal. I keep a journal for Soleil. And I started it that day at the beach. So I'll find the date when I look at it. But yeah, that day was huge for me. So yeah, I was a substitute teacher at one school. I took a break. I gave birth, after the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after, I went back to being a substitute teacher, but at another school. That one was a lot more difficult for me than the first time. I don't know if the children took it easy on me because I was pregnant the first time. I don't know. For me, I felt like coming home to Soleil after, how do I put it? I was teaching large classes of young children. And for me, the mental work that I was putting into doing that, by the time I came home to Soleil, it was a bit much for me. I really had to do a lot to wind down. And I was doing a lot of back and forth because I used to leave the school and go and check on Soleil because he was newly in daycare. And I just felt like I had to show up at the daycare every once in a while and just make sure, that we're good. I was going back and forth, dropping into school, then taking the bus down to my school, then picking him up and all of that. So when I was done with my time doing the substitute teaching at that school, I decided that I just wasn't going to do teaching moving forward. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew it was not going to be teaching teenagers at a secondary school. At that point was when I transitioned into my first online job. And my first month working, I actually had Soleil at home with me because when I stopped teaching, I took him out of daycare and I kept him at home. And then suddenly, in the middle of the month, I got an interview and got an online job. And I just did not feel like, sending him for the second half of the month. So I literally started working online with him at home. At the time, I was still, living at my mom's house, so I had help. But he was 8 months old. So he was still very attached to me, and it was his first time like being in the house, and I would just be away from him for
I
hours.
just got emotional. I just remember the very first time I met him at your mom's home now. I just had like a little flashback moment, like, oh God. Okay, continue.
Little baby Sole.
Oh.
So it has, he's definitely been a huge part of my entire experience from beginning to now.
He fortified that space. He fortified the need. He gifted you that need. You know, you can give him that responsibility in context for being the one who made you feel, pull at your heartstrings, realize your tiredness, realize the effect of your tiredness, more than you probably would have pushed yourself to endure if you didn't have a child and you were just teaching at the school. But the energy was still taking from you in teaching because of the energy transference, because of how much you care as a teacher. So you were still giving of yourself so much and being depleted, and he just fortified your comfort to connect with how depleted you were at the school. And so he was just one reason of fortification, but it is because of your relationship with your energy and your sensuality, meaning your sensing of yourself and all that we spoke about in the very first session, that gave you those permission settings like you would do in a phone. Set your permission settings, your boundaries and your parameters for what you need. That gave you that push and that drive and that impetus to say, you know what happened? Like, this isn't for me. I haven't yet found what is for me, but this isn't for me. And, bringing it full circle to how you started when you were explaining everything, you had already, your body, your senses, your tentacles had already, your nerve system had already prepared you, because you were prepared with the online platforms, because you had already created profiles for yourself how long before. So just kind of going back in to check on them, like saying, boy, I'm out here looking, I'm putting my radar out. Find me passionate opportunities because I can't do this. This is taken away from my ability to take care of myself and obviously by extension my son. And to nurture this symbiotic relationship, I'm going to need a stronger self foundation and more financial freedom so I can teach him that and I can take ownership of that and put myself in a position where I can fully experience my power as a mom the way I want to. So yeah, just recapping, like the way you actually started doing that is because, and yes, okay, of course you give me the thanks for it, and of course I receive it, as a matter of course of us coursing through each other's lives and learning from each other. But when we say permission, it's permission, as in for every soul mission that you are on, I am here for reminding you of your power. So me giving you the permission to give yourself permission is really me reminding all of my kin that, hey, you have it. We've got this exponentially, fractal. Like if you feeling like, honestly, I just feel like, okay, that's what it is. Like just wait, like life trying to show you something, and it doesn't matter what you don't have. Tap into your interpretation of your capacity, tap into your interpretation of your resources and your resourcefulness and your ways and means and where you are with your relationship with money. I'll share before we end that my relationship with money, for whoever can benefit from it in a very surface way, what I can share in this wrap up moment is that it's like I've personified it in a goddess kind of a way, in a goddess, androgynous, masculine, feminine entity, goddess space. And it's like, I don't do anything for money. Like, as though money is a property and I'm doing something for it. No. And as though I'm also desperately doing something for money because money is a slave driver and I have to do something for money. So it's not there's no sub-dom situation happening in a bad way with me and money. It's a symbiotic, happy sub-dom situation where that's there. But most importantly, it's just another way of navigating the world of currency and energetic presence and integration. And so what I do for money is I allow it to play. I allow money to take up space in my life. I allow money to enter, come and go as it pleases, come and go as he or she pleases. I allow it to show me what it's doing in the world today. I allow it it's my child. It's my colleague. It's my husband and my wife. It's whatever I need it to be, we shape shift to make love to each other. And it's not about money, the coin. It's about just that's what the world calls money. That's what the physical realm calls energetic currency transference. But really, I'm a barter person. I'm a entity that exchanges. We do iron sharpen iron, and we exchange gifts. We do treasure chest, heart, right? Treasure chest. We do exchanges from the heart. We share, like, this is something worth money. This conversation is worth money, a lot of it, because somebody's going to hear this conversation and they're probably going to hear one little they're going to just hear the tone in your voice when you responded to something, and that's going to change your life. And they're going to tell you years from now, you know what, it was August 2021, and I just heard you tell Xylo on the podcast that y'all were doing. I think I just heard you say it wasn't about the sales, it was about my voice. And girl, let me tell you, that just took me. And it was the voice thing, or it was when you said teaching wasn't you thinking it's all about all of this stuff. It's not about it was just the fact that you are willing to show somebody how to trade. And I was just like, yo, if she's willing to show somebody, if she's willing to show the access, it's just the energetic transfer of your will that I heard or listened to or saw or experienced when you and Xylo were talking. It was your ability to give thanks to her, your ability to give thanks to each other. It was the kinship. It was the way you loved your son and the way you were honest to be like, you know what happened? I keep my child home because I want to be there for him. Like, there's so many things that somebody can extract, like a one drop out of this situation that has nothing to do with even what we incepted it to be.
Yeah.
But the just and the justice and the one drop vitality of us saying, yeah, man, let's definitely meet on a rock and just vibe about something and share a vibe with our network and whoever happens to connect upon this video and podcast. So highlights.
So many. My biggest highlight is your description of how you perceive money. And I feel like it perfectly describes for me what trading feels like.
I want to talk to you. Before I will cut you off in your highlights there, because I want to say that I want to talk to you on a live, on one of our IG lives, about my understanding of insider trading. Training okay. Too. Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll take both. So I'm just excited. So continue.
Yes, that's one of my biggest highlights. Also, I love, for me, the realization that a lot of anything that I do is not even the sale or the money or it's, for me, it's a lot of the experience of it, the experience of being able to be an outlet for people and an inlet. And
we like to be an inlet.
For sure. But that's really, for me, just basking, like this call allowed me to bask in the reality of the freedom that I've been able to foster for myself, also for Soleil, because I had the freedom to keep him home on a lot of days when he probably didn't want to go to school or wasn't feeling too well, or I wasn't, or whatever the case might be. I was also able to volunteer at his school on certain days just because I had a certain control over my schedule. So being able to show up and be there for him at school and like, you know, do stuff with him and his friends at his school, all of that would not have been made possible if I didn't decide to take certain leaps.
Absolutely.
And I've just been leaping my way from like, you know, 2010, 2013.
You and I are the epitome of the Fool card, the Tower card, and the Wool card inside of a high priestess space. So like we just dancing on top of, like, when the tower shake, like we kind of like that, like, oh, it's shaking, like everything would fall, and then we jump into the ocean and we swim to our rock like a fool. We jump off of the tower and jump into the ocean and like just observe the wheel spin and just like, yeah, on our high, a natural high, like, yeah, like natural or other, but for me, obviously natural.
The Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit thrown in there too.
Oh, absolutely. All the with the embodiment of the whole major arcana, but yeah, just that energy right there with what you're saying, like not like embracing the shake,
Yeah.
embodying the shake, and trusting and taking that leap of knowing what faith, to be honest. That leap of knowing, like I know myself, right? Intimately, I know myself fully, inside and out, and and I enjoy the mystery of continuing to know myself on more Nautilus levels, newer and newer ways, spaces, and dimensions, and metaphysical planes and spaces. And so, like, it's always important to allow ourselves to be grounded at the ocean floor, you know, that one, the core of the earth. We've done that meditation, and grounded in the beyond, cosmic beyond as well, you know. So I just love how our relationship is the experiential playground and embodiment of that. If you had to like embody our relationship and these conversations, if the podcast was a child, where the podcast is an offspring of ours, or our cauldron, I just appreciate us so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the whole idea of embracing the shake, because honestly, the shake at every single point, the shake has been an activator for me. It's like if it weren't for that, because you know how I imagine it is like the fool card, like it's right on the edge of the cliff and the cliff starts shaking. Like, what do? You take a leap into the ocean. You don't stay on. You know, if you can cliff jump, then do that.
And if you can't do that, still
do that.
No, we'll catch you. We'll catch you.
You won't even.
Life will catch you either way. Take whatever analogy you need for comfort. Create whatever analogy you need for comfort. But either way, life will catch you. And if it doesn't contextually catch you, it's because there is something there for you to be a pioneer to. There's something there for you to create, something that's never been created before. And if you won't put in that position and alignment, it's not for punishment, it's for perspective. If you won't put in that specific perspective, for that specific vantage point, what I call in sacred dialogue, privilege is the privilege. They let you go before and see, oh, that's how life really is. All right, well, bet if that's how life is, I'm not going to live life like this other way that people pretending to live life. I'm going to do this. And again, thank you. Our relationship is the embodiment of that. You are me, I am you, and we are different dimensions of each other. You and I and all kin, I equals we. Yeah. So, okay, we're going to end, but I have a little gift for you. I definitely will be calling you throughout time to understand some of the things that you say that you can help with, open my mind to. Because I want to see where I want to do some inventory with myself and see where I really am I'm doing a lot of the work in the metaphysical, but I want to ground it a little bit and see what I do need and whatever you have in that resource and access way. So I will be coming to you, and I want to say it out loud. So that's one thing. But I also want to say that I've been taking all these wonderful notes, and I don't want to extend the podcast because I think there's so many gems that need to be digested in this specific conversation. So I would like us, not today, but soon, I want to just kind of honor you in a live that we'll do soon. and I want to just read back my notes to you in like in a feedback notes kind of a way, and just tell you everything that I got from this consultation.
Okay, awesome.
So, so we'll, huh?
I said I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, me too. I just want to give you all of my feedback and things I took from it, things I also wanted to say, but I don't want to take away from what you're saying. I want this to be about what you were saying today. So I just want to give a lot of thanks to you and love on you out loud. So we'll do that. Extended birthday. Happy Taurus season all year round. So as soon as we'll coordinate, so that's two things I'm telling you to expect. We'll have a private conversation at some point, and also, and in no particular order, and we'll have the live at some point when we can coordinate schedule again. And just for me to just, that's separate from the Sundays, that's just for you and me.
Oh, okay.
That's just for you and me.
Okay.
Yeah. Just feedback to this, just to this. I want to also sit with it more, and like I want to transfer the Xylo energy to you, and I want to be the Siren of the tropics. I want to have you be the Xylo, and I want to give you my feedback as what I'm taking from today.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I really hope that honestly, well, I trust that whoever needs to hear whatever they need to hear from this is like, well, yeah, it will get to, it has to get to.
Absolutely. Also, definitely, this time around, I'll probably extract more pieces from it because I think there was so many gems here. Yeah. Like so many powerful ones for what I'm trying to push through the network. So I'll probably take more excerpts than usually. I just do 3 per podcast, I think. So I just want to say that definitely if you have like, when you listen back, if there are little moments like, oh my God, that was really good. Like if you have that kind of experience, if you could just send me the timestamp, because I'll add that as the video excerpt on my page as well.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. I think I'll extract every little, like, but I want like little ones. So like every little piece, you're like that part, you know, I want to go and extract it.
Yeah. I'm also looking forward to like questions, so that I can get like more clarity on what exactly are like the burning questions that people want to know. So
yeah. So everybody, if you're listening, she is looking, you're meeting her at this very sensitive and nautilus space, right? Soft tissue space where she's learning herself as a guru and a teacher and a consultant in this space, a guide, and however else she'll call herself, wayfinder, etc., support. So if you have specific questions, let her experience her power of being a great teacher by sharing the questions. So if you are listening to it on the podcast, obviously you already know how to contact her. And if you're listening to this off of my IG page, or if you're listening to this off of my YouTube page, when you type it in the comments, or I'll put our contact number, our contact emails or whatever in the bottom, definitely send Siren your actual questions. Like, yeah, you say you can help, but how do I do this? Like, send her the actual question so that she can experience how much she knows the answer and also share it with you, or enter her network so she can start building her database and bank and organizing it. Rather, she has it already, so she can organize it, and her minority report of putting things into place and saying, okay, like, this is what you need, and this is what you get some liberation, and you get some access, and you get some financial freedom. Oh, you're gonna love this before we end. I was talking about, oh, this is so big, this is something. Okay, should I share this on this? Okay, I have to share it, right? I brought it up. So talking about like older generations and talking to them about their sensuality, power of sensuality, power of money in the older generations, where people really are with that. Finding ways to ask your parents how their sex life is, and our parents able to ask us how our sex life is, facing all of that stuff in a sacred dialogue, safe space. I ended up making a joke the other day saying, you get a vibrator, you get a vibrator, you get a vibrator. I was like, oh, I can share this with Siren. She's gonna love that. I also want to talk about, when we do the feedback, I mean, obviously I'm not sharing everything I want to talk about, but I had forgotten to write it down. So I'm gonna take it as a sign that I forgot to write it down and say it while I'm typing it. I want to talk about my own sexual hangups, my hangups with sensuality and sexuality, as a honoring of the journey. Like you say, from way back, I supported you with that, but I want to be very transparent and clear that it's something that you face all the time. You're constantly breaking barriers with it. Not less, right? We're constantly breaking barriers with it. So maybe you tune into our next one and maybe we'll talk about those things, but I'll talk about it a little bit on the live. The self-sex therapy process that is life.
Yeah. The Nautilus, the one thing that always pops up to me from that is I was watching something years ago when I was pregnant with Soleil about sacred geometry.
Yeah.
That was one, the biggest examples. And every time I hear you talk about the exponential growth and expansion that we experience,
and that we are,
and the world, that we're just constantly that sort of sacred geometrical expansion.
Mm-hmm. And that is where we're going to leave it today, because we're going to have to end at some point.
Yeah.
Leave you wanting more.
So you have to DM for price.
Yes. Yes. Okay, my love. Thank you so much. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.